A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am your presenter, Larry LaRoque. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, Minister of Tourism speaks about Dominica's export production. Rio plus 20 kicks off with a call to action. Syrian fighter pilot defects to Jordan. South School registers their second win. Details of these and other stories after the break.
Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. SAT Telecoms Ltd has obtained the exclusive rights to the 2012 Olympic Games held in the United Kingdom, and these games are the largest in history to date. The impact of these games will bring millions of viewers to the television screen. SAT Telecommunications is a supporter of the Olympics, and in extension, we support the sportsmen and the women of Dominica. Join hands with SAT Telecommunications Ltd and support our sportsmanship. Gold sponsorships at $20,000, silver at $10,000 and bronze at $5,000.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. The West Coast Cooperative Credit Union Ltd held their AGM on Wednesday, June 20th. The union's committee met and selected new members to serve on the various committees. The nomination committee comprised of the following persons: Board of Directors, Mrs. Kalma Lewis, Supervisory Committee, Mr. Richardson Edwards, and Manager, Mrs. Veronica Andrew. President of the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. Patrickson Albert, said it has been difficult for the union throughout the year 2011. He predicts that it may be at least 5 years before the union is able to get back to its feet. He explains in further details.
We just cannot get what is a vehicle and click home and be back. It has plagued us to say the next thing. We have lost in over $3.3 million. And we are now trying to, it's a while. So it will take us about 5 years to get back on stream. So it's plaguing us, and up to this point in time, I just cannot promise you all the event. It's not easy. But you all have been faithful, you have waited for long, and maybe by 2014 you might realize something.
Mr. Albert is asking the public and members to be patient as well as to remain faithful and loyal to the union. He explains one of the challenges that the union is facing.
I must say that one of the challenges we have been confronted with, I cannot speak about the Act number 2 of 2011. Section 121, 5 and 6 continue to plague the membership. The volunteers are no longer willing to volunteer. It's not easy for us. Because as volunteers, we must, we cannot, while we are capable of taking loans, we're not able. Okay? So this is something we must look hard at the league for view of maybe reviewing or maybe totally wiping out this 2 section.
In addition, Mr. Albert comments the people who continue to safeguard the credit union regardless of the difficulties and struggles.
We have met the league of the committee to look at it, and we intend to go to the regulators and with the government. But we must take urgent step to take care of this section of us. But I say also this, we have done well so far, and I must commend the people for the way you save and conduct your affairs at this cooperative, at the West Coast Cooperative Union. I know that you have confidence in it, and will continue to serve you well.
The Dominica Cancer Society is continuing its collaboration with Ross University in offering free prostate screening. Mr. Patrick Henderson, board member of the Dominica Cancer Society and a cancer survivor, is urging men over 40 to come and be screened.
Our intention is to cover the entire island by health districts. So right now we are moving into the Marigot Health District. So this Saturday we'll be doing men from that district, starting from Calibishi all the way down to Concord Atkinson. We're hoping that a lot of men show up. We have put out the announcements and have been getting calls, and so hopefully men are being more relaxed, more comfortable with the idea of doing a digital rectal exam.
The screening will take place at Marigot Hospital on Saturday, June 23rd from 9 a.m. Former screenings have discovered that there are men with prostate cancer here.
Many of them, what they have to do, and some of them, especially the older ones, the doctor would recommend that they do a PSA, which is a blood test to tell you what is the level of the PSA. If it's about 4.5, then they say when it's about 4.5, it's time to do some more deeper analysis. If it's below that, then it's relatively safe. Although they have been saying now for black men, anywhere from 2, you really should start examining it more closely.
In Mr. Henderson's case, the doctor felt that the prostate was changing.
It's time to do not just a biopsy, not just a sonogram, but also a biopsy. And the biopsy revealed that, yeah, this thing was spreading. So we caught it on time. So I'm a survivor. So that's why I try to promote it and get men to come out and really get themselves checked. They could really save themselves a lot of grief in the future by early detection.
Mr. Henderson is appealing to men and more so women to encourage their partners to get checked. The earlier the better. Past screenings have been held in Roseau and Portsmouth. Universal secondary education students now have a better chance at doing well in academics as a local education and training center has launched a program that will provide all children with an alternative that aims to enhance their numeracy and literacy skills. Director of the Achievement Learning Center, Ms. Beverly Liba, says the Education Opportunity Program, EOP, is a life skills-based education program which targets students who are at risk within the primary and secondary schools.
What we did, we recognize that I'm with universal secondary education, being in the education system myself, a lot of these students really they gain access to the secondary education, but in terms of really having the facilities and the learning experiences that they would need to help them to achieve, they were struggling. And as a result, we noticed, we listened to the different radio programs, violence, increasing violence, the teachers, the students are frustrated. So this program really is a program targeted at these students, those who get those who got the D's and the E's in the secondary, in the common entrance examination, as well as even those in the primary school.
Ms. Liba says that this program will assist young people to develop self-efficacy, a belief in their own capacity to succeed by providing opportunities to learn and practice such skills on a day-to-day basis. Students will be exposed to a learning experience that will help develop the competencies and prerequisite skills which are necessary to experience academic success and identify strategies to support responsible behavior change.
The objective of the program really is to develop learning experiences so that the students can improve their lives and transform society, to support efforts to improve quality, relevance of the and access to education, to provide the children with an alternative education program, as well as identifying potential problems that may occur in their group, because we want to teach them life skills, which is learning, identifying and self-awareness, fitness and health, emotional development, solving problems, kindness, intimacy, living in balance, letting go and holding on, and social skills. And if we put it all together, it spells life skills.
Ms. Liba pointed out that the program supports universal secondary school education like a bridge from primary to secondary school for students who do not meet the competency level requirements to enter secondary school. In addition, the students that are in the program so far have shown improvement in their attitude, self-esteem, and their motivation to learn. The director said it is very important that parents enroll their children into the program so they can make significant improvements in their academics as well as social skills, which in turn will be a great investment.
It's because you have to give a holistic approach to education. It's not just the numeracy and the literacy, but we do have students who are technically, they want to do things with their hands. They may not be able to sit in the class and remember the maths and the English and the social studies and the science, but they want to do things in their hand. As well as we have these students who, even those who do have the maths and the English, but they lack in their social skills. So we are really offering an all-rounded program. And we are hoping that parents, we have already sent our letters to the primary school, the principals, and we are looking for the support of the principals to encourage the parents to recommend the students who they know based on the results from the Grade 6 National Assessment that will benefit from this program.
The program runs every day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Our goal of the Achievement Learning Center is to prepare students, and not just children, but older adults, persons who are working but do not have the prerequisite skills. They want to come back and study. We have adults out there who want to learn to read, and then they can come here. We teach them the basics of reading. We also offer training program, computer literacy, professional training to other organizations. So it's a matter of we are here to build the human resource sector of the country.
The Achievement Learning Center was established in 2009 and is located on number 3 Elliott Avenue in Portersville. Minister of Tourism and Legal Affairs Honorable Ian Douglas says there is great potential in the export and production of intellectual property and for Dominica's national development process in the creation of wealth, especially in foreign exchange.
Similarly, it is true to that a lot of us in Dominica, and probably that is a worldwide phenomenon, do not see culture and our heritage as commodities for sale that can be exported, that can generate revenue, not only nationally, not only for the country, not only for the national economy, but for ourselves in feeding our families and building wealth, and really paying our mortgages and building our homes.
Mr. Douglas says we need to be able to package our culture, history and products to the rest of the world, and he believes our style and heritage is unique. The minister thinks that we as Dominicans have a lot to offer the world.
Package a bottle of Lubier water or any other, or a bottle of Bello pepper sauce or Cafe Dominic or any one of our other products. Our Cadas Lipso was really born and bred and created, like some of the other speakers here have said before, created in Dominica by indigenous Dominicans, Gordon Henderson and Jeff Joe Ophelia, and we have heard a number of names being called, who were born and raised in our various communities around Dominica, came to Rosa, went to school at the grammar school and stuff, and took it from there and really made a world-class product of it.
He added that we should be proud of our local artists and also products. He gives a few examples.
Cassave really became a worldwide household name, especially in the Francophonie around the world. Cadas, I would say, probably would be as big in any one of the French-speaking islands around the world as maybe Sean Paul or Aswad or in modern times Morgan Heritage are to reggae music today. I probably wouldn't say as big as Bob Marley, but any one of those second-rate universal players right now of reggae music, Cassave, I believe, was as big as that. And even Gordon Henderson, secretly, a lot of Dominicans don't know, is continuing to make it very big in the French-speaking countries of Africa.
The Garway Hotel received 2 thumbs up by the Dominica Fire Department on Thursday, June 21st, after conducting their first fire drill exercise. Supervising Officer of the Fire Prevention Unit, Mr. Wayne Leta, explains the details of this activity.
This morning what we had at the Garway Hotel was a planned drill, organized drill by the Garway Hotel, and that evacuation drill was more or less to test staff's response to a fire emergency. The Garway Hotel over the past couple of months, what they have been doing is putting together an evacuation plan, and they did that together with the Fire Prevention Unit of the Fire and Ambulance Services. And this morning it was a way of testing what the staff learned, and it's basically the evacuation process in case there's an emergency, what each staff member, each warden, their responsibility that they has to do.
Mr. Leta said that when the alarm was sounded, the staff responded very well, as they were well aware of what needed to be done, and all quickly assembled to the People's Park for safety as they were instructed to previously.
That took approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds for everyone to be out of the hotel and into the People's Park. Everybody evacuated and everybody were accounted for during that period of time. It also took the fire department approximately 2 minutes and 20 seconds to arrive at the scene. The first truck arrived at the scene 2 minutes and 20 seconds from the time they were called to the time they arrived there.
Mr. Litter pointed out that all of those who were given specific roles during a fire emergency performed very well, as they did not panic and did what they had to do, but there is always room for improvement.
One of the things like we discussed this morning with the management is to get the entire system, alarm system, in functional, and we are talking about also what they are thinking also is integrating strobe lights, and even there was a discussion that came up even on the type of beds. Yes, because sometimes what you do in occupancies like that, you may have people who are deaf. Yes, people who are deaf as occupants in that hotel, so you need a way of informing them. So inclusion of strobe lights and so on with the alarm system, this is one of the things that management is thinking of.
Managing Director of the Galway Hotel, Mrs. Judy Festina, says this exercise was a much-needed test to the hotel staff and guests for disaster preparedness and emergency response time. Mrs. Festina said they had a disaster plan in place for a number of years, but they never put it to the test with a simulation exercise to see how prepared they are.
So I think based on our training sessions with the fire department and our staff, most people, in fact everybody there today, were well informed and well prepared. They were able to follow instructions. You know, we have an evacuation plan and an alarm system in place, so that whenever you hear that alarm system, you know that you have to get out as quickly as possible. And from what the fire department said, we were able to meet the deadline. We were well within the 3 minutes that we need to get out. So we are quite happy that we were able to follow the instructions clearly.
Mrs. Festina pointed out that although this did not happen with her staff, it is very important that in times of emergencies, no one panics and always close doors behind them in case of a fire to prevent the rapid spread of the blaze.
Also, I think something that was pointed out to us, which we should bring to the attention of the authorities, is to ensure that certain streets in Roseau are not blocked by traffic, because we were told that as soon as we notify the fire department that there's a fire, the fire department should be able to come to the premises within a short space of time. And I think that was hindered because of the number of cars parked on both sides of the road in Roseau, especially in Cork Street, Hillsborough Street, and King George V Street. So these are some of the considerations that need to be addressed by the authorities.
She went on to say that training is very important and no one must wait until a disaster strikes to learn what needs to be done. Participants of the Year Professionals Workshop are very pleased with the training they received from Mrs. Margaret Fletcher Julian. The workshop began on Monday, June 18th and concluded with a ceremony on Thursday, June 21st. Participants of the workshop learned different skills including cutting hair, the difference between relaxing and texturizing, and they were also introduced to a new product called Cysteine Complex. Suzette Robin Deja, who is the owner of Suzette's Beauty Salon, the venue of the workshop. Though she is not a first-time hairdresser, she expressed her gratitude to Mrs. Fletcher Julian for explaining new cutting skills and other techniques, including teaching on how to better deal with her customers.
I learned how to develop my cutting skills a little more, and even if I know how to cut, but there are guides to cutting, and even my way of approaching my customer, I learned how to approach them a little even more better than how I used to before. So it really helped a lot, and Mrs. Margaret, she has been doing a real good job with us, and patience, you know, because some, especially to those that are just learning, they getting to know how to do a lot of things that they never know before.
She says that what she does is not just meant for making money, but for the love of hair.
Because we deal with different types of hair. So this school, these sessions taught us how to deal with different customers, different clientele, and even we personally, as a hairdresser, how to approach people.
Miss Wendy Murphy, a participant of the workshop, has always had a full-time job but does hairdressing part-time. She says the course has taught her a lot of formal terms when it comes to hairdressing.
Course taught me a lot about the formal terms of the head and the hair. So this little strand of hair is made up of many different parts, and I really didn't know that. I was like, it's just a strand of hair. But it tells us the chemical structure, it taught us the chemical structure of the hair. What can we do to cause our hair to grow or even break that we're not even really aware of. So I just learned a lot of things that I didn't even know existed.
The participants of the workshop especially wanted to thank Mrs. Margaret Fletcher Julian, the trainer, for exposing them to new skills and techniques and assured that her work would not go in vain. They also wanted to thank Mrs. Leanne Fairpacket, Managing Director of Management Consultancy and Agency Services, for organizing the workshop. It was all health and wellness in mind as the grade 6 students of the Convent Preparatory School went on a walk from Roseau to Champaign on Thursday, June 21st. Head boy of the Convent Preparatory School, Mr. Terrell Christmas, says, seeing that he is overweight for his age, this was a good initiative for him to get involved in.
We have an estimate of 40 children, and we are, as I said, we are raising funds, and it's just a good time to relax and talk and just get along with each other.
This was organized to keep the students active following the grade 6 national assessment exams and also a fundraising drive for events they will embark on as they have completed their exams and have a lot of leisure time. The head boy says in these modern times where many young people are overweight, such a walk will be beneficial to all of the participants. He went on to send a message to all of the students who sat the grade 6 national assessment exams.
Just stay in school, be prepared for anything that comes your way, and if you do bad in the common entrance, it's just your first challenge. You have other places to make it up.
Head girl of the Convent Preparatory School, Miss Brittany Blanchard, says every year they go on bell marches after the exams, so they decided to take on this walk.
I feel very well because I get to maintain my physical fitness, but then I also hold very deep responsibility in this walk, being the head girl, but I feel really great overall.
She added that everyone feels great and they were all prepared for this walk in advance. Ms. Blanchard estimates that over 40 students are taking part in the walk. Upon arriving at Champaign, the students took a rest and had some time to socialize with each other before heading back to Roseau. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.